Alright lads, so today we're finally getting around to showcasing the brand new characters in Bleach Souls, and today we're starting it off with the new character on the scene, the CIEN Zapro clone. Now CIEN is a very interesting character, and we are going to showcase him in Inheritance Child today because he basically is an Inheritance Child character. One thing I will say though is that the character model is absolutely beautiful. I love the design here, and also the fact that he got a unique aura to himself which has purple and yellow kind of glow to it is actually really cool, as it's kind of representing the CIEN and Zapro inside of him basically. I think it's a really cool and nice touch, and the aura itself looks absolutely beautiful. You will see that in the entire gameplay when we showcase him, is that his visuals are actually really good, and it mainly stems from the color palette that Caleb shows here with having that purple and yellow aura. Now big ups to Envy for letting us showcase the CIEN on his account. He is max transcended 5 out of 5, but we have removed the transcendent slot, so essentially he is performing like a 1 out of 5 character in terms of the strong attack damage, but do keep in mind our soul bomb damage will be doing a tad bit extra damage, but again for the most part he's performing like a 1 out of 5 character. Now why is CIEN a good character? What is this character all about? Well, he is an SP character, and he has the unique thing where he has 2 status modes on every single attack. Burn and also Lacerate. 2 damage over time status elements. I don't think we've ever seen that before. In addition to that, he also does have Immolator and Lacerator. Every 5 seconds, he has a 12% chance per enemy to inflict a status element, which goes really well because this character wants to inflict status elements. He also does have an increased chance of inflicting a status element against any mined enemy, and then you will see here, he does more damage to burn and also lacerated enemies. So it's 40% to burning enemies, we do have 60% because of the bonus abilities, and then it's 60% to lacerated enemies, and again we have the extra 40% because we are using bonus abilities. So essentially, normally he's going to do 100% more damage to any enemy you hit after inflicting a status element, and as already seen here with the 2 skills, increased chance of inflicting a status element and also the Immolator and Lacerator, he's going to have a very easy time inflicting status elements. And when you do inflict status elements, you are going to be doing significantly more damage to them, essentially at the bare minimum 100% more damage. In combination with his Frenzy +1 Havoc and also 40% Berserker, he's a character that's going to be able to hit quite hard. And of course, it's also worth mentioning he also is a increased Super Mind Link Swap Potion character, so if you use him in IT, you are getting an additional 5 Super Link Swap Potions. So with that said, let's jump into a run, showcase him, and see how he performs in Inheritance Trials, mainly the content where you want to use him. Alright, so we're instantly jumping into an IT quest where we're the host, so we are going to be able to have that host advantage. And we lucky for us have 4 CIENs in our quest. And again, this time around, we actually do have Killer, so that's actually going to be really good. CIEN is a character that doesn't really need Killer to be used in an IT, because remember, he does have the increased chance of inflicting a status element. So he is kind of messed up there. I was spam my 3rd strong attack, but it didn't come out quick enough. So CIEN technically can be used when he doesn't have Killer, and that's what he does have over someone like Nini, another Super Link Sword character in the Mind Heart attribute. But what you will notice here, because we do have that increased chance of inflicting status element, because there are 4 CIENs in our entire lobby, a lot of us are just going to be doing a lot of damage, and I really like the idea of this character, because remember, most of his DPS is actually coming from the fact that, you know, you want to inflict a status element, and when you do significantly more damage. And with 4 CIENs in the lobby, everyone's constantly inflicting status elements. So I think CIEN is one of the few characters in this game that just work really well with other characters, right? Normally, of course, you know, when you're doing IT and stuff like that, you're going to bring like the best characters you can, or you're going to bring Super Linkster characters, and they all just do their own thing for the most part, right? They don't really work well together. But in CIEN's case, it just makes sense. Like, these characters are just working well together because we're all just constantly inflicting status elements, and we are doing a considerable amount of damage here. Like, remember, even though our character is special move level 5, we are basically performing like a 1 out of 5 character, and look how fast we're clearing. Yeah, keep in mind, the people that we have in our lobby, one's only spectating, so we're basically using 3 people here. Every person here in this lobby is T10 CIEN, so they don't even have like a special level up CIEN, so this is like the bare minimum with these characters. But going into the final room, I think we might be able to do the soul bomb, but we're not going to soul bomb straight away, right? So let's just use our SA1. Didn't really do much there. Into the SA2. I'm going to wait for some enemies to spawn in. Let's use our SA3, SA1. Then we soul bomb. Because our soul bomb does do quite a bit of damage, right? Because we are going to be doing more damage to those, you know, burn and also lacerate enemies. And even if we don't do damage to them, remember, they are taking damage from 2 status at the same time, which are both doing damage over time. So it's lacerating them, burning them, and even if you yourself aren't doing damage, you're still going to be doing just damage overall. So for our first run with CIEN, we did die there. That's my fault. That looks cool. 4 CIENs are cool. What clay time do we get? 2-minute clear time. I mean, that's not the slowest run out there. It's definitely the fastest. We can get faster, but keep in mind the people that we are playing with, not to downplay them and all, but, you know, they had T10 CNs. This is just a random lobby that we created, but we were still able to clear pretty good, in my opinion, for a basically 1 out of 5 character. That's quite impressive. Alright, so jumping back into another IT lobby, let's see if we can actually clear faster this time around. So SA1 there. The SA1 will actually do a decent amount of damage when we do inflict status augments. But I'll definitely say that this is by far the worst part about the entire character, is that SA1. You know, it's no surprise. In my opinion, I think it's the worst strong attack one in the entire game. But it's not that big of a deal, to be fair. But it definitely is just something worth mentioning. And his Nad String also, again, can do quite a bit of damage. Normally for SP characters, you don't want to use your Nad String because it just doesn't do that much damage. But in the case of CIEN, where you can, you know, inflict burn and also lacerate, you can do a decent amount of damage with your Nad String. And keep in mind, because we have a bonus abilities, we are doing like an extra 60% damage on our strong attacks when we do inflict status augments, which I think is kind of cool. Very rarely do you ever go with that type of build where you just use, you know, damage to status augment inflicted enemies. Normally, it's always full stamina or a status reduction, maybe even long stride. But in CIEN's case, the fact that you can go with burn and lacerate, I think is actually quite cool. Use our SA1 there, back the hell up. Then we use our SA3. And that's doing, again, good amount of damage to these Aran cards. I'm actually quite impressed with the damage output this character has, despite only having a 40% Berserker. Because remember, like I said, most of the damage comes from being able to inflict status augments, and it's working really well. I just think the one thing you just have to get around is the fact that he does have that, you know, kind of wonky SA1. It doesn't really do the much. It does a decent amount. When you have kill at the very least, it does do a decent amount of damage, but it's definitely not ideal in this situation. What we can do here is use our SA1, then use our SA3, back up, use our SA2, and then it lacerates and does a good amount of damage. In addition to that, I think because he does have lacerate, it's going to be quite good in something like Senkamon, since you are going to be able to like stop the enemies from attacking you. So I guess that's something nice to say about CN2. But I think, yeah, overall, just from the few games that we played here, I think his strong attacks are actually quite good, and I think his gameplay is quite enjoyable. It's quite smooth for the most part, even with that kind of wonky SA1. I think it's not a big of a deal, to be fair. Let's use our SA1 there, have to aim it, then we use our Soul Bomb, and now we back up. We have Last Stitch, so it's fine. Let's revive, use our SA2, and they go down. Not too bad. Jumping into our third and final lobby, let's use our SA1 there. In addition, I want to also mention that I think the only like bad thing about him that you can really say about his character, of course, is the SA1, right? That's no surprise, but I think the fact that he's not immune to any status augment is kind of annoying. It's, again, not that much of a deal because you can just, like, play around it, like, you know, stand in places where you're not supposed to. Like, in that case, we didn't get inflicted with status augment, but it is just worth mentioning. I think the only bad thing about him, similar to other characters too, like Uryu, is that, you know, he's not immune to any status augments. But, again, like I said, it's not really that much big of a deal because you always can give them bonus abilities. In this case, we're actually clearing quite quick here. Let's use our SA1, and then use our SA2. There we go. Again, you're just going to see here that we're just... everyone's just getting infected by status augments. It's kind of funny. And in CIEN's case, his visuals are literally, because the character itself didn't really do much in the final fight, I guess. It's just him using Ceros. And it's kind of funny when you have like 4 CIENs, everyone's just non-stop doing Ceros. And again, the visuals for this character look absolutely stunning. I didn't have an expectation for this character when it came to the visuals, but I'm relatively impressed, honestly. This purple and yellow color scheme they have going on is actually quite cool. So let's go here. Let's use our SA3 into the SA2. There we go. Not too bad. We did take a bit of damage there, but we are fine. And now we can just use our Nad String. And again, like I said, when you do inflict a status augment there, your Nad String is also doing a good amount of damage too. So now we got to be careful not to die here because we don't want to, you know, waste any more revive candles. SA1 into the SA3. Let's use our SA1 there, and then use our SA2, and then back the hell up. We don't want to get too close. We can just use our kind of beam attacks to sit from afar, maybe use our Night String if possible. There we go. I'm already into the final room. I'll use my Soul on the final boss, and then finish up with the SA3. So yeah, not too bad, honestly. Again, we're playing co-op IT here, so it is obviously on the tougher side, right? I think for a character that's doing... special move level 1 out of 5 damage, right? T20, 500 SP. This is basically the bare minimum when it comes to strong attack damage. Even for only having a 40% Berserker, he is hitting quite hard and he is clearing quite consistently. And I think, again, the character like this, I think works really well in co-op lobbies where you want to use him because he is a super IT character. You are getting them 5 additional super pots. The fact that you can clear in 2 minutes, which is a random team, I think is actually quite impressive. Again, remember, just by having him in your team, you're getting those 5 extra pots. So having 4 CNs here, or Ninis, if you have a Nini too, you also can use her. You are getting those additional 20 extra pots. However, it is worth mentioning he doesn't have the normal link shot potion skill, so technically, he is worse than Nini, but in a way he's better because you can use him when he doesn't even have killer. Nini the other Super Links or character, is required to have Killer to actually be usable for the most part. In CIEN's case, it really doesn't matter. Of course, when he has Killer, he's going to be performing better, but even when he doesn't, he's still going to be inflicting stat ailments, and he's still going to be able to get his massive damage output by inflicting those stat ailments. So I think CIEN is actually a pretty cool character, and the way they designed him is actually, to a certain extent, somewhat unique. So jumping into a single-player IZ quest where we just finish up, let's just quickly showcase him against, PvE type of enemies. He's going to clear PvE content, single-player content relatively fine. Even with that wonky SA1, when you're doing single-player content like this, like, it don't even matter, like, because it clears, the enemies don't have that much HP that you kind of just clear fast regardless. Let's use that SA1 there. In that case, it didn't do the best there, but that's just, you have to position the SA1. It kind of killed the enemy there. That's kind of funny. They just walked straight into it. But I think the SA1's only a problem in co-op content, but even then it doesn't really matter anyway, because it's still going to be hitting quite a few times. It's still going to be inflicting stat ailments, and you'll be just fine. This quest is actually quite nice because it's quite linear, so we can just use our SA2 and do a lot of damage and, clear entire waves. And then go into the final quest. We'll finish up with our Soul Bomb. We'll let it play out too. Not too bad, not too bad. Honestly, his character model is just too big. But with that said, lads, that was the video for today, just showcasing the brand new version of CIEN. I think he's actually quite a cool character. Again, visually, I think the character looks great. Even though all of the attacks are basically just Ceros, I think the purple and yellow color scheme he has going for him is absolutely stunning. His model looks amazing. The voice actor, again, Zaplo's voice actor always does a good job for his characters. But in this case, it sounds different. The character itself sounds more insane. So that's obviously a good job for the voice actor for making this character sound the way he does. I think this character has a lot going for him, and I think for IT content, he's going to perform relatively well there. Despite having that wonky SA1, despite not being immune to any stat ailments, he is a character that is going to clear IT just fine. Especially with 3 other CIENs, they're going to be just constantly inflicting stat ailments and therefore doing more damage. Since he is an Aaroniero, you might have those extra stages to use in, Senkamon quests, where he might be like one of the few characters you can use. Overall, this character offers a lot for your account, and I think, again, tied with the fun gameplay, his beautiful visuals and amazing voice actor talent, this character is actually quite a good character in my opinion. So with that said, hope you lads did enjoy the video. In the comments below, let me know what you lads think about this version of CIEN, and later today we are going to be checking out the new Roka, so make sure you guys subscribe for that. We are almost at 50,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. With that said, I'll see you lads next time. Peace.